Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Unknown Comics for this very spooktacular special video. It's Halloween, and it's one of my favorite holidays of the year, and I wanted to share with you guys some of my favorite horror comics from this year. So, I've got my short box here full of all my stuff. Some of these are scarier than others, but they were all good. I'm going to start with the... We're going to start with the earlier stuff and then work our way up. So, first off, let me pull out this one. Coming from Image Comics, Scott Snyder, Tony S. Daniel, Noctera. This is... Issues 1 through 6 is the first story arc. It's basically about... I would say it falls in the same sort of lines as like A Quiet Place or Bird Box. Something major happens in the environment and monsters take over. So with this, the world goes black. There's no light, and because there's no light, it causes life to morph into these monsters. I really enjoyed this book. The story is not over, that's for sure. It's coming back next year. I don't know what month next year, but I know it's coming back. It was a really good read. I love Scott Snyder. I would put this... It almost skirts the line more of an action-adventure as opposed to horror, but with all the monsters and stuff, it's close enough for me. So be sure you're checking out Noctera. Some of this stuff is fairly recent. Let me see if yeah, this is a good one. Proctor Valley Road from Boom Studios. I loved this. It's based on a real place. There's an actual Proctor Valley Road with all sorts of urban legends, and most of these stories have some sort of at least cameo in the comic. It's about these girls that are trying to raise money to go to a Janis Joplin concert, and to raise that money, they con these boys into going on basically a haunted tour of Proctor Valley Road, and stuff goes wrong. So, like one of the cameos is this bison monster thing is I think they call it the Beast of Proctor Valley, and yeah, he looks pretty close to what the descriptions say from real life. I really enjoyed this series. The whole run, it's a 5-issue run. That's the whole series. It's over. I really suggest going out there and finding these. There's not a trade paperback yet, but if you could track down the issues, I really recommend it. It's decently spooky. I think the art style matches the time period that it takes place in, and overall, it's a really good book. So up next for our spooktacular, we have Phantom on the Scan. There's number 1. Phantom on the Scan, number 1. This is an Aftershock book written by Cullen Bunn. It was a 5-issue run also. It is also over. The artwork is definitely different, but I think it fits the story. It's very... almost abstract with the way the colors are, and it's just it's kind of aloof, for lack of a better word, which fits the story because these people have these psychic powers, but they don't know how they can't remember how they got them. They don't know why they're there, and they are themselves dying off. So one of them, the main character, tracks down a handful of others that he can sense, and they go on a search to discover the secrets. There's a pretty good twist towards the end. Very Lovecraftian in a way. It was a good book, and I would recommend it. So track down these issues. I don't know if there's a trade for this one out yet or not, but it's only 5 issues. If you can find them, it was really good. This one was plenty spooky. So, Phantom on the Scan. I'm going to get in some more recent stuff. I'm saving one of these for... I'm saving my favorite for last. So, even though it was not necessarily the most recent, I'm going to save my favorite for last. From DC Comics, we have Nice House on the Lake. This is James Tynion. Art by Alvaro Bueno. It's been interesting. It's kind of slow going. It's basically these people make friends with this person throughout their lives, and he decides to let's all go to this lake house for a retreat and just kind of get together, catch up, that sort of stuff. Well, they get there, and then the apocalypse happens, and they find out they're stranded there. So there are some pretty, I would say, good, entertaining twists. They're not big twists, but the more you learn about this character, the crazier things get, the more interesting it gets. And like I said, it is a slow read, but I think it's building up towards something. It is not over. Issue 5 is out now. I think issue 6 was on FOC last week, and it'll take a break until March. So I know this book is coming back till March, in March. I think it's going to be a 12-issue run in total. So track down back issues and be looking out for it come March. Nice House on the Lake, DC Comics. So this next one is another Aftershock book. I don't think it's over. I think this one is on like a mid-season break as well. It's Bunny Mask, written by Paul Tobin. This one, the story moved a lot faster in this one compared to like Nice House on the Lake. I enjoyed it a lot also. And it all centers around this... We'll call it a spirit that can basically tell what people are, basically what they're thinking, any negative thoughts, stuff like that, sins, you could say, and certain people can hear this creature, and they are driven to act, which has led to serial killers and stuff like that happening, and basically, the main character at one point was a CPS agent who went to check on this girl and got roped into all this stuff. That happens at the very beginning. Then it flashes forward back to after the initial events happen and kind of things start happening again. So this was a good read. Go check it out. It's Bunny Mask. It's issues 1 through 4 are out now. I think it will be returning at some point next year. Another one that just finished up, Betty from Dynamite, Betty Page, The Curse of the Banshee. I've enjoyed this. It's not particularly scary, but it does have like a Scooby-Doo sort of vibe to it. I do think it's kind of ironic that they chose Betty Page as basically the face of this series. It has nothing to do with pinup or anything like that. It's not even particularly risque on the inside, but it's about Betty Page going around and solving mysteries. Just recently finished this past week with number 5, but I believe if they do what they've been doing, there will probably be another Betty Page series starting shortly, and they've all had this sort of Scooby-Doo vibe where she's trying to figure out some supernatural mystery. So it was a lot of fun. Check it out. Okay, so now we're going to get into some really recent stuff that is still currently ongoing. First up being Eat the Rich from Boom Studios. This one has been just fantastic. I have really high expectations for this. I didn't know anything about it. I just picked it up from FOC based off this cover of number 1. And it's about this couple's going back to the guy's home for I think spring break. They're college kids, and they're engaged or fixing to be engaged, something like that. And she gets there thinking it's a normal place, and then sees all these weird customs that the super rich people of this community have. I don't want to spoil anything because this is a super thrilling read, so be sure to check it out. Eat the Rich. There's 3 issues out right now. Issue 4 was on FOC a couple weeks ago, so it should be out here soon. And keep your eye out for I want to say it's a 5 or 6 issue run, but I don't know at this point. So keep your eye out for it. Track down the back issues and check it out. Eat the Rich, Boom Studios. Up next from Vault is Human Remains. We talked about this one on our comic chat a few weeks ago. I think issue number 2 comes out the 27th of this month, so be on the lookout for that. You're not that far behind. All you gotta do is find number 1. This is another very much Bird Box, Quiet Place type of story where this certain frequency is causing all these monsters to show up. So I really liked it. So what causes them to show up is any sort of emotion at all. So if you show emotion, this portal opens from another dimension, and this spider monster hops out and starts killing everybody. So I'm super excited to read more of this. There's been a lot of good stuff coming from Vault lately, and issue number 1 was awesome, and I really have high hopes for the series. So be on the lookout for Human Remains. Another Vault book that I had some pretty high expectations for is Last Book You'll Ever Read. This is another Cullen Bunn book. He's one of my favorite horror comic authors. And this has been another really good read. It's about an author that writes a nonfiction, almost self-helpy kind of book, but not really, about people giving into their instincts in the wild. And it's like opening these people's minds to their instincts, and they're turning into crazed killers and just basically animals. So yeah, it's been really interesting. It moves, it's fast paced, and it's suspenseful when it needs to be. So it hits all my boxes. This is Last Book You'll Ever Read, Vault Comics. Okay, so this is my absolute favorite horror book of all of 2021. I know it's coming back, and it actually is coming back soon. And it went from initially a mini-series to being picked up to an ongoing, and that is The Silver Coin from Image Comics. This has been absolutely fantastic. It's an anthology, and each issue is like the whole project is overseen by Michael Walsh, but each issue is written by somebody different. So issue 1 is Chip Zdarsky, 2 is Kelly Thompson, Ed Brinson on 3, Jeff Lemire on 4, and Michael Walsh himself on 5. 5 is all that's out now. 6 was on FOC a couple weeks ago. We can expect that sometime in November, I believe. It is now an ongoing series, and basically the only thing that ties these together is this one possessed coin. And whoever is in possession of the coin, bad things happen to. It's been really good. Each story has its own complete different feel to it. being that it's an anthology, but it's so good. I can't even put it to words. It's so good. Just to give you guys a taste, the first issue is about a rock band that sucks, and then the guitarist finds this coin, comes into possession of it, and uses that as a pick, and it makes them awesome. They go to play. They finally get to play the gig that they want. That's just booked, and they get to playing, and they can't stop playing. And basically, everyone in there dances themselves to death, and they play until they start a fire, and the whole club burns down. It's just wonderful writing for every issue. I'm really excited for the next issue. It involves an arcade in some way, so go track these down. I do think that there should be a trade of this coming soon also. But yeah, this has just been fantastic, and I can't wait to read more of it, and I hope it just goes on forever. But I want to thank you guys for watching. This is just what I've been reading for horror. Horror is one of my favorite genres. I wanted to share this with you guys. It's spooky season, so let's celebrate. Go find some of these books, check them out, and we see you guys next time.